Originally designed by Charles Moneypenny, the same architect who created Daytona International Speedway, Michigan International is best known for awesome speeds and competitive racing, spawned by its broad racing surface and 73-foot wide, 18-degree bank turns. Michigan's width and steep banking ensure there's always more than one racing groove, and the fact that MIS is not a super speedway means that drivers have more than enough power to make a challenge out of the turns at both ends of the track. Once upon a time, Indy cars frolicked on those high banks at breathtaking speeds, witnessed to Paul Tracy's record qualifying lap of 234.949 miles per hour. Today, Michigan regularly vies with Daytona, Talladega, and Texas as NASCAR's fastest speedway, with Jeff Gordon holding the NASCAR Cup Series track record of 206.558 miles per hour. Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby and Davey Allison, Dale Sr. and Jr., Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson have all added their names to the roll call of MIS winners, one that also includes names like Andretti, Foyt, Unser, Mears, and Zanardi from the days when Indy cars raced in the Irish Hills. Allison to Yarborough, Andretti to Zanardi, the world's greatest race drivers have been coming to Michigan to test their mettle for more than 40 years, and the fans have followed by the hundreds of thousands. Tonight, the DEP Graphics Truck Series, and it's coming up next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Michigan Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, bringing you the GOATS 180 from Michigan International Speedway. Got to thank the GOATS for jumping on board to sponsor tonight's race. 2 weeks in a row. Practice just about complete here at Michigan. Let's go trackside to see where everybody's lined up. Coleman the fastest at 39.42. Zach Millett second fast. Then it's the 20 of Justin Lawson, Paul Durkee, Rob Chipman, the top five. Brian Rose, Paul Ferdiani, Mason Wagaman, Vince Short, Double O Joe Bennett, your top 10. So clock at 0 for practice. We're going to get right into the qualifying session. See who takes to the track first. Looks like Brandon Coleman not going to hesitate here. Again, Brandon was fastest in the practice session. Coleman out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Coleman, one of a handful of drivers sporting the Birdsong Brewery sponsorship. Birdsong Brewing Company, that is. Takes the green flag for lap number 1. Lap 2 likely to be the quickest of the two. Hear the low RPM in these trucks here in qualifying. Fixed gear ratio, fixed setup across the board, really. They're really set up to race, not so much to qualify. You will hear that RPM jump up at least another 500 revolutions per minute once we get into race conditions. Wagaman goes fastest to 40.13, Beetle a 40.22. Coleman across the stripe for his first lap. It's a 40.084. That's third fast. Zach Millett on the speedway to start his Q run. Justin Hopp, the fastest, number 24, 40.02 seconds. Shipman second at an 04. Coleman in 08, third. Ten-minute session here, 2 laps. Race settings for tonight. We'll have 1 fast repair, 4 sets of tires over the wall. Max fuel is going to be at 70%. First lap for Millet, 40.284. Meanwhile, Timothy Pope goes P1. First lap at 31.91. Fastest out of the box. We'll see if he continues that pace as Brian Rose goes second quick with a 39.95 special. Lap 2, not quicker for Pope, 40.041. Alfie Charon out of Putnam, Connecticut. Takes the green on lap number 1 of his qualifying attempt. Millet jumps up to the second spot, 39.92, just misses the top spot with Pope. May see a battle between these two here tonight. It was back in Atlanta where they tangled. Derek Welch in the stream chat, not able to make it tonight, but he's watching. Sharon across the stripe, first lap. 40.294, puts him P15. Russ Kilgore on his second lap, the number 7 Ortho F-150 out of Yorkville, Illinois. First lap was quick, 4th fast, 39.989. Lap 2 for Kilgore, 40.163. He's going to stay in that 4th spot. Alfie Charon just finishing up lap 2. Where did he land? A 40.029. Picks it up 8th quick, puts him into the top 10. Larry Dickerson back in action, the number 69 machine. '11th fast the first lap, 40.069. We see it kind of hit and miss on lap 2. Drivers able to pick it up and some not. Dickerson appears to be the last driver on track to finish his laps here. It's on lap number 2. We'll stick with it. Joe Bennett's not taking the time in qualifying. I believe he does have to serve an EOL this week, so that might be the strategy there. Just don't bother qualifying. Dickerson off turn 4. At the line. Does he pick it up? He does. 9th quick, 40.036. Dickerson locks himself into the top 10. That's going to wrap it up for everyone out there in qualifying. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway for the GOATS 180. DEP Graphics Truck Series on the pole position with a lap time of 39.912 seconds. 728 Limitless Motorsports entry of Timothy Pope. Outside front row, the 315, that S4 guy, Zach Millett. Row number 2 is the 89 of Brian Rose with Russ Kilgore in the 7 to his outside. Row 3 in the fifth spot, Chris Klein, the number 51. Justin Hopp, the number 24, starts in the 6th position. 7 starting position, the 13 of Paul Durkee. Alfie Sharon with Sharon Racing, the number 78 is going to roll from the 8th position. Starting 9th, Larry Dickerson, the number 69 machine out of the Carolinas. Robert Shipman Jr., the 55, will start 10th. The 20 of Justin Lawson, also out of the Carolinas, he'll start in the 11th position. Double out Joe Bennett, qualified in the P12 position, but will go to the rear of the field for an EOL before this race kicks off. Brandon Coleman, the 19 truck, he'll start from the 13th position. Adam Adamson, the 751, another Limitless Motorsports entry, he'll start 14th. Mason Wagman, the 56, qualified P15, but also will receive an EOL at the start. Tony Polk, the number 8, Wicked Loose Racing Machine, will start 16th. Vincent Short will start 17th with Howler Boys Racing. Dan Baker, the number 09, will roll 18th out of Ohio. Paul Ferdiani, the 33 with Plus EV Racing, will start 19th. 20th is Eric Beadle with Beadle Motorsports, and Jeff Ottinger, 21st with Juan Jimenez, Grim Roberts Racing. 22 starts 22nd. Your starting grid here for the GOATS 180 as the field begins to pull away from pit lane. Going under the green flag here momentarily.
Calls it off.
Gonna go one more time around here under the yellow flag before we go to green, trying to get everybody squared away. And to clarify here, looks like Mason Wagaman getting not just an EOL on the start, but also a drive-through. This all stemming from an incident last week, post-race. Working off turn number 4 here. Pace car lights are on. Again, usually just one lap before we go to green. We're going to go 2 here this time. Trying to get this field formed up nice and tight, 2x2, front to back. Drivers spread out pretty significantly here at the front stretch here. Going to get everybody tightened back up before we take the green. Once again, as always, feel free to join us in the stream chat. Say hello. Tell us who you're cheering for, where you might be watching from. Little programming update. We missed the Monday GT3 Series race in Hungary. That will be rebroadcasted Thursday evening. Wednesday night tomorrow, typically we would have Black Horizon Truck Series action. They are off. Thursday, the LSR Cup Series is off, which opened up the door for us to run the GT3 Series rebroadcast Thursday night. So things are mixed up here this week, but still some racing action here at HBR TV. Feel free to tune in to it. Join us. Again, I broadcast the tape delays live as if I have not seen them, because I haven't. So it's just like the real thing. So let's give this another try here. Field looking a little bit better here. A little bit of a gap there in the mid-pack, but got some time to clean that up here before we get to the green flag. Tim Pope's going to lead them down. Millett to the outside. That's your front row. Pace truck down pit lane. Arnie, the flag man, with the green in hand.
Green.
We're underway for Michigan. Just like that, quickly Millett takes the top spot from Tim Pope. They've switched lanes, and Pope was at the bottom. Now it's switched over. Millett now with the lead out of turn 4. He's going to lead lap number 1, or is he? Pope coming back with a run. Not enough to cross the line first. Zach Millett's got the 728 clear, but Pope all over the back bumper of Zach Millett. Top 3 under a blanket, top 4 under a blanket. Millett, Pope, Kilgore, and Rose as they run. Pope still all over the back bumper is Zach Millett. Millett slides a little wide out of turn number 2. Pope tucks back in behind down the backstretch. Kilgore trying to take a peek to the inside with Pope. Nothing doing there. They still run relatively single file down into turn number 3. Everybody nice and tight down the backstretch. Top 3 starting to get away slightly over the rest of the field. But Chris Goins in the stream chat. The Irish Hills. Be a fun race to watch. Certainly hope so. It's been very close quarters here at the front of the field for the first 4 or 5 laps. Millett took over the top spot right off the start. Pope, though, not giving a 315 an inch. He's all over the tailgate of that 315 machine. Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Battle for the 4th spot. Alfie Charon and Brian Rose side by side. Rose takes the spot 4 now. Let's go on board with Timothy Pope. Now he's trying to battle with Russ Kilgore. Here Pope lifting just slightly mid-corner. Don't know if that's just due to a bit of an aero push. Being sucked up so close to Zach Millett there, losing some air on the nose of the 728 Silverado. Kilgore all over the back bumper. That's also going to help loosen that truck up. So it's kind of a combination of both. Pope not giving an inch here. He's still all over Zach Millett. He's got some good pace. Fastest lap between the two of them. Millett with a 39.74, Pope with a 39.73, but Russ Kilgore a 39.71. Fastest on the track right now, it's Alfie Charon, the 39.62 out of the 78 truck. Again, we do see faster speeds here at Michigan in traffic versus qualifying. Not a super speedway per se, certainly no tapered spacer or restrictor plate on these engines, not here at Michigan. Plenty of power to get it done, but the draft comes into play significantly here with the truck. They punch such a big hole in the air. Alfie's got some pace though. He's knocking on the door on Kilgore. Battle for the lead. Zach Millett under attack. Pope goes to the bottom here and nose out in front off of 4, but Millett may have the run out of the corner. Pope dives it to the bottom at the stripe. Millett's still going to lead the lap. Same cannot be said for the next time by. We'll see if Pope can get him clear. Side by side, it's open the door now for Kilgore to move into attack mode, but Alfie Charon trying to do the same. Top 5 all battling for position. Pope actually tucks back in behind Millett. Can't complete the pass. Kilgore to the bottom. He's going to take maybe the second spot from Pope, but that's where the battle is at the moment. Oh, in contact. Pope saves it. Does he save it? Still trying to save it up the racetrack between Brian Rose and Alfie Charon. What a save. Everybody scattering to try and get by. Oh, in contact. More big-time saves here. The 13 truck, I believe that was. That's Paul Durkee. Wow. How that wasn't a big-time caution, I will never understand. These guys got some skills, but there's the caution. Vincent Short on the wall. Number 15, backwards out of turn number 2. Yellow on the Speedway. Well, let's see if we can find it. Big impact, exit of turn 2. Not a great angle on it. Let's see if we can get a better view. Contact with the 33 truck. .33 is Paul Ferdiani. Let's try this again here. Let's back it up here. I want to see how this started. It's right on board. Roof cam here with the 33. Paul does come up a bit. I don't know if he got loose and had to try and chase it up the racetrack, but he does get into the left rear of Vincent Short. Oh, some contact further behind. Didn't even see that initially. Door was closing between these two. Looks to be the 38 truck. Not seeing the 38 truck in the standing, so that makes it harder to find him, but he's got a different number on the truck than he does in the session. Yeah, there we go. So we'll see the contact here between the 38 and the 33. Just hooks the right rear just a bit, sends him up into Vince. So chain reaction crash. So under our first caution of the night, lap 13 is where we're at now. Pit stops have already completed. This guy's taking an opportunity to come down pit lane. Some just for fuel, some opted for tires. They do have 4 sets over the wall. So plenty of tires. Lawson opting for track position. It's like Robert Shipman doing the same. We got Haley in the stream chat. Says, do you have a membership? I would so subscribe. You know what? Honestly, we don't. Proceeds come from the leagues that want us to cover these races for them. It's the viewing audience that we like to have come in here, and as much as we like to get paid for stuff, we don't want to charge for that sort of thing. Cody Anderson. Hi, Steve. Hi, Cody. So Justin Lawson's going to restart here as your leader. Millett's going to restart to the outside with fresh tires. Now, you'd think that it doesn't mean a whole lot at a place like Michigan, but after about 10 laps, it's not really a wide open track anymore. The tires start to fall off a bit. Got to lift. It's going to make a big difference here on this restart between Lawson and Millett. Derek Welch says he's cheap. How is that cheap? If I was charging, that would be cheap, because it's just putting money in my pocket, taking it away from the viewer. Oh, we got Eddie Rose with the trivia. What NASCAR driver got the track record of this track? Just a little trivia tonight. I'll give you all a hint. I mentioned it in the broadcast opening. Downside is DVR's turned off, so hopefully you're paying attention. So 2x2 here on the 1 to go. Looks like we're into turns 3 and 4 here. Pace truck's going to dive off the banking here. We'll be back underway in just a moment.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. Lawson goes topside. Millett goes to the bottom. He's going to take over the top spot. Zach Millett, your new leader. Chris Goins is absolutely right. Bonus question is, what was the lap speed? Eddie Rose got the lap speed. Well, so much for the question. Millett back to the point. Larry Dickerson up into P2. Then it's Justin Lawson, Brian Rose. Switch them up. Lawson goes back to 5th. Kilgore up to 4th. Lawson going further back. Again, those old tires not holding up well. We kind of expected to see that. He did get that opportunity to lead a lap under caution. But he's going to go to the back here in a hurry. It's going to be awful hard to keep up with the fresh rubber. Here for position. Brian Rose, Alfie Charon, Russ Kilgore. Tim Pope is in the mix as well into P6. And Pope had a close call early on, managed to save that truck more than once. 3 wide off of turn number 2. Vincent Short on the bottom. Got Vince Short, Chris Klein battling for position. Vince able to stay on the lead lap, I believe, through that incident that brought us under the caution flag. He indeed did. Vince running in front of the 22 of Juan Jimenez. Meanwhile, up front, close quarters battle here. Zach Millett, Larry Dickerson. This is for the lead. Dickerson opting for the high side here as Alfie Charon's on a tear into the front as well. He might go to the bottom here with Millett trying to defend both lanes. Millett slides up the racetrack. This works 2 ways for Millett. He blocks the run on the high side, gets some momentum, dives it to the bottom, blocks the run from Charon. Dickerson way up the racetrack. He's going to lose the 2nd spot, maybe even 3rd. For the lead now, it's Alfie Charon and Zach Millett. Brian Rose now to the inside of Dickerson. Tell you again, this is like watching a race at Daytona or Talladega. Leader opting to go top to bottom, bottom to top to block both lanes. Alfie Charon though on the bottom side for the lead. A little bit of a wiggle, has to chase it up the racetrack. We're only at lap 20, boys. Calm it down. Continuing this battle here. We got 6 trucks here at the front of the field. I think every one of them more than capable of winning this race. Again, we still have 69.5 laps to go. Dickerson battles back. He's into that second position. Tim Pope up the racetrack as well into that third spot, at least by a nose over Alfie Sharon. Brian Rose slips to the fifth spot. Millett maintains the lead. He's successfully defended multiple challenges from different drivers in this last handful of laps. Meanwhile, there's a battle for the third spot. Tim Pope, Alfie Sharon. Pope on the outside, Alfie in the white truck just behind the 728 as Pope clears Sharon. Millett under pressure once again. Haley in the stream chat says Chris Goins is her favorite racer. You should have seen him when he drove the Barbie car. Dickerson all over the back bumper of Zach Millett down into turn number 3. Gotta wonder if Dickerson's just toying with Millett right now. Watching this battle for the top spot, lap 23, off turn number 2. Zach Millett, Dickerson, and Pope, the top 3. Pope keeping a little bit of distance between these two as Dickerson's challenging for the lead every single lap. Doesn't want to get too close in case some contact occurs. Already had one close call tonight. Doesn't want to have to deal with that again. Zach Millett has been unable to get away from the rest of this pack. No matter what he does, he's got a challenger off the tailgate of that 315. I want to give a call to Double O Joe Bennett here up into the 8th position. Remember, he had to serve that EOL penalty at the start of this race. Had to start from the rear of the field. Through the caution, some pit stops, and good old pace alone, he's found his way up into the top 10 in the 8th spot. Sits currently between Mike Adamson and Paul Ferdiani. Another call out here, Vincent Short back into the top 10. Again, Vince was involved in an incident here off of turn number 2 to put us under our first caution of the day. Backed it into the outside safer barrier.
There will be a caution.
And the caution is out. Juan Jimenez likely involved in this, indeed. Maybe a single truck spin here at lap 26. Take a look from the tower, see what it looked like. Oh, off the nose of somebody. Now, who is that somebody? Looks like the 38 making contact with the 22. 38 was kind of the precipitous in the first caution. Again, it's hard to track who that actually is since the number on the truck doesn't match the timing tower. I hate to have to go through this the way that we are, but it's Mason Wagaman. Wagaman had some pace. We've seen him be quick, but once again, Contact with another truck puts us under the second caution of the afternoon. Let's ride on board with Mason. Slow it down here. Gets to the back bumper and just starts to push on that right rear. Gets it centered up. This is okay. This is not. And this is what's going to send Jimenez around. So that's our second caution of the day. Pit stops underway here at Michigan. Field coming down pit lane once again. I would imagine anybody that didn't take tires the last time learned their lesson. They're going to pit for tires this time. Zach Millen in the pit box. Looks like he's going fuel only. He did take tires that last caution. We weren't under the green for a very long time, but maybe this is a strategy for Millet to save a set for the end. Alfie Charon's going to be out second. Brian Rose third. They all took fuel only. Everybody else down pit road, with the exception of a handful of others, opting for fuel only tires. Wow, we actually got a pretty good mix. Eric Beadle, Mason Wagaman, fuel only. Dan Baker, fuel only. Everybody else taking tires. I don't really know about this strategy. We watched this happen during the last restart. I want to say Paul Durkee it was, if I remember correctly. Was one of the goats. I just don't recall which one it was. But opted for tires, for fuel only instead of tires. Was able, no, it was Justin Lawson. 20. Opted for fuel only on the first caution. Restarted as the leader, but fell through the field as if he had an anchor out the back of that truck on the old tires. I'm curious to see how this one's going to go. Chris Goins in the stream chat. The bump draft at these 2-mile tracks is a recipe for disaster. You can certainly get away with it on the backstretch. You got to be careful. If you got a guy that's a little crossed up on corner exit, doesn't really have that thing straightened out, can't keep the line, I wouldn't push him. I certainly wouldn't do it here in the dog leg of the front stretch. Definitely not a great place to do it. But to each their own. As it sits, though, 29 laps in, it's going to be Alfie Charon, Zach Millet on your front row. Millet with the lead, first off of pit lane. Brian Rose in P3. A little bit of nose damage on that Track Bar Media F-150. I don't know if that's going to affect him too much if he gets the truck into the wind, but in the draft, he should be just fine tucked in behind Millet. Quick Esports says, Zach's afraid of dirty air. Well, if you can choose to not be in dirty air, why would you choose to be in dirty air? Afraid of it or otherwise. If I can lead, I'm going to lead. As you can tell, we're 2x2 on the one to go out of turn number 4, going back to the green flag. Pace truck down pit lane. Now it's Barney's turn to wave the flag once again.
Green flag, green flag.
We're back racing from Michigan. Zach Millet in the throttle. Charon a little slow on the restart. He's going to slide back now the battle with Brian Rose. Rose is going to take the spot as well. This guy's had to go. Again, they're on older tires. This is what we're going to find out. They can hold off these faster guys. Doesn't look like it. Is 69 and Dickerson already up into P3. He's got fresh good years. He's diving to the bottom for P2 out of turn 2. Just like that, Dickerson to the inside of Zach Millet with Timothy Pope. They're both going to blast by the leader. Zach Millet from first to third. Kilgore is going to go around third to fourth. Millet tucked in behind Dickerson. Still trying to fight off Kilgore, but just to no avail. These guys with the fresh tires are going to power to the front without issue. We're 1/3 distance here at Michigan. Millett back to fourth, Brian Rose fifth, and top three now Dickerson, Pope, and Kilgore as they battle for the top spot into turn 3. Dickerson goes to the bottom. Kilgore is going to try and fight Pope for second. "32 laps in here at Michigan. We are going to step aside, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us, though. You won't miss a minute of the action. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway, Larry Dickerson still with the lead. Him and Russ Kilgore starting to stretch things out between P3 and 4 and 5. Vincent Short and Timothy Pope battling for position. Mike Adamson trying to give a push to the 728. A little bit of drafting help. Teamwork wins. Pope still on the inside on Vincent Short. Adamson slides up the racetrack. Vince even higher up the racetrack. Might build a run out of turn number 2 to try and defend. I don't think Pope is clear. Is he? Yes, he is. Pope back up into P3. Nikki Short in the stream chat cheering on Vince. How we doing, Nikki? And Vince battled back pretty significantly here. Had a wreck here on that first caution. Got the truck fixed, burned the fast repair. Out there without the safety net, but doing a good job of it here, solidly in the top 5. Still battling with Timothy Pope for the 3rd spot. Even with a little bit of drafting help from Adamson, Pope can't quite make Vince go away. Battle for the lead out of turn number 2. Russ Kilgore to the inside on Dickerson. Ducks back in behind, down the backstretch, trying to sniff a bit of a draft in the 3. Will he make another move here? Not quite yet. Maybe he goes topside. Nope, still stays in behind. Battle for the top spot, Dickerson and Kilgore. You hear Larry lifting out of the throttle ever so slightly. Very smooth throttle input and output. Kilgore makes another look to the inside into 1. Dickerson up the racetrack. Kilgore goes to the bottom, trying to make the move this way. Haven't seen this work as of late. Topside seems to be the place to be if you want to try and defend the lead. Laps in here. Kilgore and Dickerson still battling for position. Dickerson with the lead. Tim Pope back in the 3rd spot. He's cleared Vincent Short. So is Mike Adamson. Vince now back to P5. Paul Durkee coming into the frame here. He's going to put some pressure on Short as well for the 5th spot. You got to wonder if Vince burned up the stuff a little bit too much trying to battle Pope. Durkee's going to look to the inside of the turn number 3. Might have the spot to the low side. Vince was able to close back in on Adamson, though. Durkee slides up the track, almost contact with the 15. Not clear, not clear. Paul Durkee almost put himself and Vincent Short into their own sticky situation. Durkee does get Short clear now as Vincent tries to look back to the inside to battle back. You know he's going to take a look here, possibly into turn 3 to try and repass the 13. Don't know if he's close enough to try and challenge. Does look to the bottom, but nothing doing. Is back up to the tailgate of the 13 truck. Durkee now the 5th position. Vincent Short tucks back into 6th. Still things relatively the same out front. It's Dickerson, Kilgore, Pope, Adamson, now Durkee. The only big change in the top 5. Check on our tires or fuel only choices. Alfie Charon at the back, Eric Beadle at the back. This is Charon is 20th, Beadle 19th. Baker 18th, no tires. Brian Rose 17th, no tires. Millett 16th, no tires. It's all well and good as long as they don't get lapped. Fuel run on these particular trucks here with the 70% fuel load at Michigan, 22 to 25 laps before you're going to need to pit. Green flag came out lap 32. Just for comparison, Beadle Well, let's go. th position. He is currently 11 seconds back. So quarter of a lap. Not too terrible as of yet, but looking at the fall off, Beetle's last lap was a 41.99. Dickerson a 41.61. Now a 41.33 for Tim Pope as they battle for the top spot. Now with all that said, pit stops are going to be coming here in less than 10 laps. Once again. So I think they'll be okay. These guys are likely to stay on the lead lap, and by doing so, they'll have saved a set of tires, but it's only going to pay off if the caution comes out. Because they're going to have to deal with the same deficit that they've got now. If we do green flag stops here, yes, they've saved a set, but again, it only really comes into play if they get an opportunity to use it. That opportunity would be a yellow. If they don't get it, they're going to have to work their way back through the field on sheer pace. Have to outrun these fast guys at the front of the field. Yes, they'll both have a set of tires on as well, so that adds to the complication. Still a battle for the lead here. Dickerson maintaining the top spot. Pope into P2. Then it's Adamson in third. Kilgore fourth. Durkee fifth. Vincent Short back into the fray here, putting the challenge back onto a couple of goats. Splits up Durkee and Lawson. Vince cools his tires down just enough. He's able to track them back down here. Put a challenge on. Hasn't gotten that pass completed to put himself back in the top 5. Now he's got Lawson to the outside. Vince drives it in way deep. Does it stick? Back out front. Battle for the lead once again. Pope and Dickerson. Pope with a little bit of push coming from Adamson. Still not able to make it work. Great battle here at the front of the field. 49 coming to lap 50. Past halfway. Again, I would expect to see some pit stops here in the next 2 to 4 laps. Maybe 5. Pope seems to get the run out of turn number 2, but just not enough to do anything with it. Dickerson getting out of turn 2 pretty good himself. So go back here, Vincent Short changing lanes here, trying to pass Durkee on the outside. Having some more success at this point to put himself back into the top 5, but it looks like these guys are hitting pit lane. Paul Durkee, all 3 of these goats down pit lane at the same time. Teamwork. Again, you do want to be able to draft to have that pace that you're going to need to stay in the fight. Single truck is not going to be as fast as 3 or more. So Durkee, Lawson, and Coleman all in the pits. Green flag stops underway here from Michigan. We did expect to see this. This is right about on time. Slightly early, but that's all right. All 3 drivers opting for 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Slowest stop was a 15.25 out of Lawson. Quick stop was Coleman, a 14.85. Here come the leaders. Dickerson and Adamson out of turn number 2. They're going to put these guys a lap down. Short has slipped back to P6 once again. Now Juan Jimenez is up into the 5th spot. More pit stops underway. Adamson comes down. Does not pit with Pope. That is interesting. Dan Baker also down pit lane. So interesting for Adamson to pit the way that he has. Yes, Baker's down pit lane, but they're going to be quite a ways off from each other. Adamson's just finished up his stop. Baker slides through the box, has to back it up. Well, Jimenez goes to the point. Dickerson, Pope, and Kilgore. Leaders down pit lane. This is also pulled Millett, Vincent Short, Chris Klein, Tony Polk, Jeff Ottinger, Brian Rose, Alfie Charon. A little bit of damage on the 78 truck. So Juan Jimenez, your new leader here through the cycle of pit stops. Interestingly, his last stop was lap 27. That's the same for all 4 of these top 4 drivers. Jimenez comes down pit lane right now for his stop. 00 Joe Bennett, same thing. Paul Ferdiani as well. Robert Chipman going all the way to the end of their fuel run. So if all things being equal, depending on how this cycles through, Paul Durkee and Lawson may come back around as the top 2. We'll have to see. There it is. Paul Durkee, Lawson take over the top 2. Adamson 3rd, Jimenez 4th, Timothy Pope 5th. This is all post pit stops. It shows you the difference in lap time versus old tires versus new. These guys kind of undercut the leaders, pit before them, and they come out ahead of them after the pit stop. Now, that will change and cycle back through as their older tires begin to fall off sooner than the guys that pit most recently. Now, what they need to kind of hope for is to run halfway through this run and bank on a caution. Get that track position. Everybody's going to pit at that point. Then it becomes a question once again, who goes fuel only? Who goes 4 tires in fuel? Does anybody opt for 2 tires? Keep an eye on Mike Adamson here. He's on a tear. Again, he does have fresher tires. Only a couple of laps fresher over Paul Durkee and Lawson. But it does seem to matter as he's working his way up into the top 2 in the 2nd spot. Lap truck of Mason Wagaman up top, number 38 machine. Mike Adamson all over the back bumper. Goes to the inside on Paul Durkee here. This is for the lead at Michigan. Across the stripe. So Durkee's going to lead that one, but down into turn number 1. Adamson on the charge, side by side. Durkee tries to pinch him down. Middle of 1 and 2. Looks like Adamson might have this pass done. Durkee slides up the racetrack in front of the lap truck. Still side by side down the back straightaway. Bit of a push coming from the 22 of Jimenez. Tim Pope coming into the fray as well. We got a 4-truck battle here for the lead, if not more. Lawson's coming into it. Dickerson's coming into the battle as well. These guys are all hard charging here late. Lap 58 to 59. Vincent Short making a move here on the 8-truck, trying to follow Dickerson through. 3 wide. We got the lap truck of Wagaman up top. So the 56 of Wagaman now down a lap. First truck, only truck, 1 lap down. Klein is 2 laps down. through that exchange. Tim Pope is your new leader. Adamson runs second. Dickerson's challenging for that position. Back behind him, Juan Jimenez, Paul Durkee, Vincent Short, Justin Lawson. It's your top 7. Coleman's got an 8 on the door, but it's actually the 19 truck. So don't let that fool you. We'll say the 19 in the tower, but it is the 8 on the track. Battle for the lead once again. Dickerson to the outside of Tim Pope. Pope battling back on the bottom. 61 laps in here of 90. 30 remain from Michigan Speedway. Great battle here at the front of the field, not just for the lead, but really everywhere in the top 5, top 7. We've seen 3 wide, we've seen close quarters, we've seen door banging. Still side by side for the lead. Pope, Dickerson. Pope has it for now out of turn 4. Does he have enough to clear? He tries to come up the track, not enough room to do it. Still side by side at the stripe. Dickerson's going to lead the lap, I think. Albert Anderson says, I need to set reminders on my phone. I can't believe I missed tonight's race. Come on, Albert. This is a good one. Tough break, man. Wish you were here. So we got a battle for first and second and a battle for fourth and fifth. Adamson and Short going at it while Dickerson and Pope do the same. Still side by side at Michigan for the lead on a turn number 4. Dickerson up top in the black and red, number 69. Timothy Pope on the bottom, the blue 728. Don't forget, folks, we still have another round of pit stops to be concerned with. Pope gets him clear down the backstretch. Dickerson challenge back to the inside. Stays tucked in. With that, we're going to take our last HBR TV side-by-side break. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway, a battle all over the racetrack. Pope still with the race lead. Juan Jimenez has closed in and has been challenging Timothy Pope for that top spot here with 22 laps to go. Dickerson now jumps into that battle as well. He's in the second spot as Paul Durkee, Lawson, and Coleman are opting to hit pit lane once again with 22 laps to go. Puts them within their fuel window. Again, a short pit. We'll see if it cycles them back through once again as it did the last time through. We've been caution-free for quite a while. That would certainly change up the strategies for many of these drivers, especially those that opt to pit early. They could get caught a lap down. Speaking of strategy, though, Zach Millett has worked his way back into the 7th spot. He was on that no tire strategy for a while. Last time through, they did opt for 4 tires. 4.3 seconds back from the race lead. Laps to go for Timothy Pope. Zach Millett now peels off the racetrack. His final stop of the day. He is within his fuel window and maybe even then some if we were to get a green-white checker. Now keep in mind though, this is his 4th stop of the day. He's only taken tires on 2 of those stops. So even with this, I believe he'll still have a set remaining. If we happen to get that green-white checkered finish, he could opt for fresh rubber. He's going to take tires here, certainly to get him to the finish. Meanwhile, Jimenez takes the top spot while Millett's in the pits. Inside Timothy Pope here in the closing laps. Battle for the lead. The 22 on the bottom, that's Juan Jimenez and Timothy Pope up top. Larry Dickerson peels off for pit lane. Russ Kilgore. Alfie Sharon is out pit lane. Final pit stops of the day underway here at Michigan. All this happening while the leaders battle for the top spot. Pope and Jimenez. Pope tucks in behind, unable to clear for the lead. Got one of the goats coming in here. He's not a lead lap truck though. He's got fresh tires. You see the difference in pace from old to new. It's the 20. That's Lawson. Lawson runs 13th now. Last truck on the lead lap. That's going to move Paul Durkee into the lucky dog spot if the yellow were to come out. Zach Millett and Brian Rose running 16th and 17th, though they are a lap down. They will have some pace. Jimenez battling for the top spot again. Dickerson in the middle there with faster, newer tires. He goes right on through. It's also going to open the door here. Jimenez is going to take the spot and clear Pope. We got faster trucks who are lapped down trying to go by the leaders here who have yet to pit for their final time. They may actually stretch this all the way to the end of the fuel run to see if they can get a caution and pit under the yellow versus green. Still the battle here for the lead. Jimenez in the top spot, the number 22 Toyota, then Pope in second. Double O Joe Bennett third. Jeff Ottinger now up to fourth, and Adamson in the 5th spot, but from the pit lane. That's also going to include Vincent Short, Paul Ferdiani, Robert Chipman, he's down pit lane as well. Tony Polk in the 8. Drivers on their final pit stops of the night. Jimenez crosses the stripe here, now 16 to go. Top 3 drivers are going to have to pit soon here within the next lap or so, I would assume. It's going to put them right at the end of their fuel window. Just kind of hoping for a caution now. Let's try it again. And there he goes, off turn 4. Juan Jimenez down pit lane. His final stop of the day. Pope stays on the racetrack and will lead another lap. 4 tires and fuel for the 22. Pope down the back straightaway here. I would expect to see the 728 come down pit lane here at any moment. Could be this time. Definitely slowing out of the throttle. There he is. Coming to pit lane is Timothy Pope. Final stop of the day for the 728 from the race lead. Double O Joe Bennett's going to inherit the top spot. He'll get a lap led here. Clean pit entry for Pope. 4 tires and fuel for the 728. Down and away, good stop. 14.4 seconds for Timothy Pope. Lightning fast pit stop. Joe Bennett, one of the last to pit here. Dan Baker, the other. At the stripe, Dickerson now with the lead over Zach Millett and Kilgore. That's your top 3 all close together here with 13 laps to go. When did they pit? Dickerson 71, Millett 70, Kilgore 71. 4th place is Lawson, pit at lap 68. Paul Durkee 5th, also 68. Vincent Short though, 73. He's up into the 5th spot. A little bit newer tires. He charges to the front. Only a handful of lap difference between these trucks, but you see the difference. The Short working his way towards the front. Newest set of tires right now here in the top 5 is Vincent Short. Less than 12 laps to go. Dickerson with the lead. Baker finishes up his stop. He's back on the track. So it was Double O Joe Bennett. Laps to go from Michigan. Larry Dickerson at the point. Millett running second. Kilgore in third. All 3 of these drivers lightning fast here this afternoon at Michigan. Millett with an interesting pit strategy here early on, trying to gamble and save an extra set of tires for the what-ifs. It puts him back here in the top 3 though, so far it's working, and he still has an extra set to use if necessary. Last drivers to pit here. Double O Joe Bennett pit at lap 77, so he's got some fresh tires on that machine. Tim Pope, he's up into the 6th position. His last stop, lap 76, so he's got the freshest tires, at least near the front of the field. Juan Jimenez, lap 75. He's been a pace to deal with all afternoon long. He's going to work his way up. Time is running out, though, but 10 laps. Almost sounds like enough time for some of these guys. 3 wide. Tim Pope up into the 5th spot. Takes the spot from Justin Lawson. Back out front, it's Dickerson and Millett battling for the lead. Vincent Short into the mix as well, into the 3rd spot. Takes that position away from Kilgore. Again, Short, freshest tires of this group here at the front of the field with 9 laps to go. He's got the pace. He's all over Zach Millett out of turn 2. Dickerson still with the lead. Short still with P2, but for how long? Sorry, Short goes to P2. Takes it away from Zach Millett here, coming to 8 laps to go. Clears the 315. Next in his sights, it's Larry Dickerson with 8 laps to go. No matter what happens from here on in, it's been a strong recovery for Vincent Short. First caution of the day was the 15 truck getting turned into the outside wall in turn 2. Burns the faster pair, stays on the lead lap. Spent the afternoon working his way to the front, and here he is in the second spot. Fresher tires than Larry Dickerson, not by a ton. We're talking 2 laps. But Vince has been quick all afternoon long, still all over the back bumper of the 69, coming to 7 laps to go. Top 5 all in a group here. Tim Pope up into the mix. Now he's got the freshest tires in the top 3. 5-car battle for the lead and the win here at Michigan with less than 7 laps to go. Dickerson up the racetrack. They're in formation like they planned it. Out of turn number 2, they look like fighter jets, not trucks. Meanwhile, Pope, all by himself with the fresh tires, goes to the point. Doesn't have Dickerson clear, though. The draft is going to help the outside lane here. Pope drops to the bottom here with no help. The top lane has been the preferred place to be all afternoon long, but Pope, with the fresher tires, he's going to easily clear those 4 trucks and retake the top spot here with 6 laps to go. Battle for second, Vincent Short, Larry Dickerson. Short tucks back in behind the 69. Here comes Juan Jimenez. He's got some newer tires as well. 1 lap older than leader Tim Pope. He's to the inside of Vincent Short. Tires mean everything. This is where the advantage will go to those that still have a set on pit lane if we get a caution. Emphasis on the if. The later we go into this race and the longer it runs, that caution becomes less advantageous as there's still 17 trucks on the lead lap. If everybody else stays out and only a handful have sets of tires over the wall available, it's not that much of an advantage if you've only got 2 laps to do anything with them. See how it unfolds though here as we got less than 5 to go. Coming to 4 laps remaining. Jimenez taking a peek to the inside on Pope. Sorry, on Dickerson, that is. For the second spot. All over the back bumper of the 69. Coming to the stripe, he's at the inside. Might have the pass complete into 1. We'll see. Jimenez on the bottom, the number 22. Dickerson up top, the 69 truck. Jimenez takes the position away. Does he have anything for Tim Pope? Can he reel him in here in the closing laps? 3.5 remain. Pope out of turn number 2. Clear sailing in front of the 728, but clear sailing in front of Jimenez as well until he gets to the back bumper of Pope. But it's a 3/4 second advantage for the 728, coming to 3 to go. Deficit not closing in anymore. Jimenez and Pope running very similar laps. In fact, the last time by, they both ran identical lap times, 40.85 seconds for the both of them. Not going to close the gap with 2.5 to go if you're running the same speed. Top 3, Timothy Pope, Juan Jimenez, and Larry Dickerson. 4th is Vince Short. 5th is Zach Millett. 2 laps to go. Battle for the 5th spot. Millett trying to hang on to it over Russ Kilgore. Kilgore with just 1 lap newer tires, but he's been fast all afternoon long. That may be enough for him to take the spot. We'll see how this plays out. Lap truck of Dan Baker in the mix as well. Meanwhile, coming to the stripe, white flag in the air. Final lap for Timothy Pope. Hasn't made every race this season, but the ones that he has, he's been strong and competing for wins. Doing the same here at Michigan as the gap has closed significantly. 0.3 of a second back to the 22 of Jimenez. Does he have enough? Out of turn number 2, he's not really there. Still 0.3 of advantage. Coming down slightly, not a whole lot. Does he have enough to drive it into turn number 3 and challenge for this win? Timothy Pope hold him off. It's down to 0.2 of a second. In the middle of 3 and 4, he's going to need a monster run to pull this off. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Timothy Pope's going to do it. He's going to win the GOATS 180. Juan Jimenez is going to finish in the second spot. Harry Dickerson, P3. Vincent Short, a well-deserved and earned P4. Russ Kilgore does finally nip Zach Millett for the 5th spot. What a race. Timothy Pope with Limitless Motorsports bringing home another checkered flag here from Michigan Speedway. Parks it on the start-finish line. Very tame celebration here. No burnouts, it looks like, for Tim Pope. That's going to do it here. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at Michigan Speedway here for the GOATS 180. It's come to its conclusion. Timothy Pope, your race winner. Got our top three in the green room here. We'll pull Tim up first and get a word. The driver of the 728, Timothy Pope and Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Yes, sir.
Timothy Pope, congratulations on the win here at the GOATS 180. You won the pole tonight. You won the race. Kind of a clean sweep. Walk us through your night, man. It was very impressive, very dominant, but waiting till the very last minute to take tires and then work your way back to the lead and taking home that checkered flag, man. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I got a little damage earlier. I think it hurt me a little bit. I just couldn't keep up as well. But I'm at the last stop there. I took my fast repair and, or next to last stop, I think it was. And it was doing a lot better. I was able to suck up, keep up a little bit better, and wanted to turn better. And I thought I stayed out too long there when I come out because they were kind of far ahead where I was able to run them back down.
Well, we were kind of thinking the same thing, that it just might have been too little too late, not enough time to make any good on it. I was also, some of these guys had saved a set of tires throughout the course of the race, and if the caution had come out, it would have been a whole different ball game. But it worked to your advantage. You took the checkered flag. You had time to work your way back through there. It was really impressive run, Tim. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next week we go to Chicago. Obviously a different racetrack, but still a lot of rhythm. You got to keep the momentum up at that kind of place. What are your thoughts going into Chicagoland?
Yeah, I like to go to Chicago. I guess I'm pretty decent there.
We certainly look forward to it. Again, nice job tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Everybody on Limitless Motorsports and our Numb Gaming for putting the races on. You guys for broadcasting. Thinking of Derek Welch because he's got a little family emergency going on also.
100%. Certainly thinking of Derek in this emergency he's got to deal with tonight. Hopefully everything's okay, but have him back here hopefully next week and everything will be happy.
Sir, thank you.
Tim, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
All right.
It's Tim Pope, your race winner here at Michigan. Next, we're going to pull Juan Jimenez up into the broadcast booth and get a word with our runner-up. Juan, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got a copy. How's it going?
We're going well, sir. Congratulations. A solid run here tonight. Not quite the victory that I'm sure you wanted, but P2, not too shabby. I think you started out at the back, certainly passed the most trucks tonight, 20 that is. Walk us through your night, man, and what you could have done differently maybe to track down Tim Pope. It seems like you had him there at the end, but just not enough time.
Oh, it was a fun race. Didn't quite make it for qualifying, so we were kind of just stuck at the back. Just when you got such a long race, it's all about being patient, picking your spots, and seeing what develops. So we were just running kind of around at the back, and then eventually that caution comes out where I get hit from behind, and that comes out and causes a caution, causes a split strategy, and it was just like, well, I was kind of forced into taking tires there because obviously you spin, and if you stay out, that's not going to be great for you. So fortunately, the split strategy did work out for us, and we had a really fast car, so it was just about being patient and making up the time, and we did, and we came up just short, I think. Maybe when we came out of the pits, we were by ourselves. So if we pit one lap earlier, maybe we would have been in the pack and could have gotten the win. But Tim drove a hell of a race, so congrats to him on his win. Just a little bit frustrating to have a top 3, top 5 car. I feel week in and week out, and still not have a win.
Got to try and lock in that W, but if it's any consolation, the final lap of the race, you did have 2/10 on Tim Pope, so maybe a handful of laps more, you might have been able to pull it off. We'll never know, but we can always just look forward to next week at Chicagoland Speedway. What are your thoughts rolling in out there?
Oh, it's a fun track. It's a little bit drafty, so we'll see how it goes, but it should be a blast. And yeah, I'm excited to be out of the few stretch of races that I feel like I'm not very good at, and Michigan is one of those, weirdly enough. So I'm glad we came out with the second place after that. And, just happy we're in the playoffs, happy we're in the playoff spot, happy we're putting that 22 in some good spots, just hoping in a few weeks we'll be winning one of these races instead of coming second.
Certainly looking forward to it. Again, congratulations on P2 here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. Want to shout out Derek Welch, who's in the race control tonight. Or I don't know if he's in the race control actually, but he's usually in the race control. He's the owner of the league, obviously. Numb Racing Leagues. Some exciting stuff with ARCA. We got Xfinity Super Speedway League. We got the Next Gen League. We got the Spark League. They're all a blast. So obviously try them out. I think we put on a good show tonight. So that's just the kind of racing that we have week in and week out. So just proud of, just happy to be represented by these guys. And DEP Graphics, shout out for this beautiful paint scheme, which, as I'm sure you can see on the broadcast, just looks amazing.
Certainly does. Again, congratulations here. A solid run here tonight. We wish you the best of luck at Chicago, man, and thanks for talking to us.
Thanks to you.
Swan Jimenez, your second place finisher. Last but not least, not even last, third, it's Larry Dickerson. We're going to pull him up into the booth. Get a word with third place, Larry Dickerson. It's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got me?
Got you loud and clear.
All right. Congratulations, Larry. A strong run tonight. Spent some time right out in front of the field here, challenging for the win. Bringing it home in the third spot tonight. What was left in the tank, if anything, that you could have done to either take that second spot or even further track down Tim Pope and maybe get a victory out of it?
I had nothing left in the tank. They played the strategy just a little bit better than what I did. My strategy tonight coming in was, stay out as long as I can on each run. And the first two cautions kind of messed it up a little bit. So I just had to, being that Zach's been winning all the races, I kind of was going off of him. And I didn't want to, I knew you can get around 23, 24 laps to gas each fuel run. So I was trying to figure out when I pit. I didn't want to short pit too soon, because if I short pit too soon, there's a chance caution come out and trap your lap down, or even if it stays green, you short pit so soon, the guys with the fresh tires were just going to eat you up. So that was the main thing tonight. I just happened to jump in this race tonight. I ain't raced with y'all in a couple weeks. I took some couple weeks off trying to figure things out, and this is one of my best tracks. And I knew if I picked a good track tonight to run, because this is one of my favorite tracks. I always run up front, run really good here, and then I knew I had a good chance tonight.
Definitely very smooth with the throttle and the wheel inputs tonight. It was definitely noticeable. Of course, the pace was there. Congratulations on the third place finish. I know you probably wanted more out of the deal, but are we going to have you next week at Chicagoland?
Chicagoland, you should see me back next week again. Like I said, it's just things I got going on here lately. It's kind of sometimes up in there if I'm going to make the race, and it just happened to me tonight. It's one of my good tracks, and Chicagoland I'm halfway decent at, so expect to see me there next week, and maybe I can just do 2 spots better.
Certainly look forward to it. Larry, again, congratulations. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
First off, thoughts and prayers with Derek and his mom. I know it's a hard situation. It's it's scary. I've been in the same boat 2 weeks ago. I had to take my mom 2 times in 1 week, rush her to the hospital, cause health issues and scares. So thoughts and prayers with him, and hope his mom's all right and she has a speedy recovery. And also thank you to all of the league sponsors. I know it takes time and a little bit of money to make this stuff happen, but appreciate all the sponsors that tag along for this and give us this opportunity to showcase our abilities. Shout out to you for your awesome broadcast each and every week. Like I said, I know I haven't been here every week last couple weeks racing, but I've still been going back and watching the replays. Man, you do a great job on the broadcast. Nobody any better, just about. And a shout out to my teammate Dylan. Wish he could have raced tonight. This is also one of his good tracks, so it would have been cool to have him up front with us battling for the lead and the win. Shout out to Timothy on the win. I was hoping I was going to be the first one to say I stopped the Zach train, derailed it, but I came close. I gave it my best shot.
Well, whether you stopped it or not, you still finished ahead of him, so it's kind of like a win.
Yeah, it's kind of like a win, but you always want that first place.
Yeah, of course.
But But shout out to Timothy. He deserved it, man. He ran a hell of a race. I had a lot of fun racing with him. Shout out to Juan. I didn't expect him. He caught me off guard at the end too with the fresh tires. I hadn't seen him all race. I don't know where he came from, but shout out to him. Awesome run there at the end. Shout out to my sponsors, LA Construction. Anybody on the East Coast needs some house construction work, give him a look up out of Roxborough, North Carolina, Virginia border. He'll take care of you, and he'll do you right. He's a real good guy. JP Designs for my awesome paint jobs he does for me. I always say they look great, but they look even more great when I can put them up front and keep them up front like I did tonight. And my biggest sponsor, Angelman Syndrome Foundation, is a special form of autism that affects everybody differently. That's the main reason I run these leagues, is to bring awareness to that. I got friends and family with all kinds of form of autism. So not only the Angelman syndrome, autism, but any kind of autism that anybody can help out with, donate, help any organization out. If you can, that'll be a great cause. You'll be doing anybody with autism, anybody who supports it, a great cause any way you can help out. So give them a look up and see what y'all can do. And again, like I said, biggest thing is prayers to Derek and his mom and his family.
All right, Larry, again, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week at Chicago.
All right, look forward to it, man.
It's Larry Dickerson, your third place finisher here at Michigan. Definitely go ahead and support that Angelman Syndrome Foundation. Certainly a good cause, of course, across the board. Anything related with autism, or really just civic mindedness, I guess, in general. If you can donate, you're in a position, certainly do that. It helps those good causes. It's always a plus. There's no wrong time of year to get that done. So good job, Larry, for the third place finish. Again, good cause. Good to see that on the truck as well. Let's take a look at our race results here for the balance. We talked to our top three. Fourth place finisher, got to hand it to Vincent Short. A solid recovery. Again, under our first caution there, got into the wall after some contact. It's kind of a three-truck incident there. Really, Vince just got the worst end of the deal. Burned the fast repair early on in the race, fought back to the fourth position. Fifth place was Russ Kilgore, edging out Zach Millett there on that last lap to take the position away. Millett finishes P6. Mike Adamson was seventh. Eighth position went to Paul Durkee. Justin Lawson was ninth. Brandon Coleman, ninth. Those three drivers, they worked together tonight as a team. They pit at the same time. They got back on the track. They worked together, and there they are, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Maybe not the finish that they wanted to have, but they definitely did a good job of working together and being a team. Double O Joe. Well, Joe Bennett was P11 after his EOL to start tonight's race. Alfie Charon was 12th. Brian Rose finishes 13th. Paul Ferdiani was 14th. Robert Shipman Jr. was 15th. Jeff Ottinger 16th. Tony Polk, 17th. Dan Baker, 18th. Justin Hopp was 19th. Mason Wagaman, 20th. Chris Klein, 21st. Eric Beadle was 22nd, 2 laps down. That's your race results here from Michigan. The Goats 180 DEP Graphics Truck Series. Again, next week we go to Chicagoland Speedway. Make sure you tune in for that. And if you haven't already done so, please like, follow, share, and subscribe to both Facebook and YouTube. You can find the links for that over at hbrtv1.com. Website under construction. But hot links for both Facebook and YouTube are available there. Check us out. Please do that. Helps the channel out with the likes, the shares, the follows, the subscribes. We're not going to beg here, but it helps us. It helps the league. It's a positive across the board. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Again, tune in here. We've got a couple more races this week. Tomorrow we are going to be off. Black Horizon in their off week. Thursday, LSR Cup Series in their off week. We're going to do a rebroadcast on Thursday for the LSR GT3 Series because we missed that. I was traveling for work, but either way, still some racing to continue. And then back to Sunday nights, we'll have the No Bull Racing Series as well. So tune in for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great night.